Now we are streaming live on Facebook, according to the information I have on my screen. My name is Jesper Bengtsson, and I am the program leader of this pod and live stream discussions about union rights in different parts of the world. We call the pod There's Power in the Union, to connect it to the old songs by Joe Hill and after that Billy Bragg. And the first edition of this pod was about the situation in Hong Kong. It was, the talk took place Monday this week, and we speed it up now and have a second talk this week, and it will be about Myanmar. There has been a dramatic change in Myanmar recently. In February, there was a military coup, and the coup took place after a couple of years with at least partial openings of the country, partial reforms making the country a little bit more democratic, and it was possible for unions and other organizations in the civil society to actually work inside the country. We will talk about that and about the dramatic shift earlier this year. And to do this, we have two persons with us. One of them is Khaing Zar, who is the president of the Industrial Workers Federation in Myanmar. And you are now living in, well, outside the country. And then we have Oscar Ernerot, or maybe Ernerot. I'm not really sure about the pronunciation of your name. Ernerot.
Yeah.
Who is working for LO Sweden. And you have also worked with unions in Myanmar for some time. But tell me first, Khaing, what is the situation like now, a bit more than half a year after the military coup? Is it even possible to work with unions inside the country now?
No. The trade unions in Myanmar now cannot function in their work because we are a democratic organization. No democratic organization can survive under the military rules. And we trade unions, have been participating in the demonstration and against the coup since February. That is why many of trade union leaders from the factory level to the national level are forced into hiding. And and then the factory level unions, we still have a member at the factory level. They are now under pressure because we see that the employers, they are providing a trade union list and together with their address, phone numbers, and photo to the police, so that many of our trade unions leaders have been chosen by the military regime since March, February and March, yes. And then there were about 27 members arrested already, and one got killed during the demonstration from mining sector.
One of the union leaders was actually killed during demonstrations.
Yes, from our organization, yes.
And you said 26 arrested?
Yes, that's from CTUM. If you want to know about the situation of the other trade unions who are not our members, I saw some report that 27 of the workers trade unionists had been killed, and 116 workers and unionists had been arrested.
I see. Oscar, when you hear this, and I know you are aware of it already, but what is your reaction on that?
No, it's of course extremely severe, and we the LO sisters organization, CTUM in Myanmar, we've been working together for a very long time. So it's both personal friend, but it's also trade union colleagues that we know are hit hard and harmed by this. And all the work that's been conducted so strongly by the strong trade unions and the brave people of the unions are now demolished and destroyed. So that is, of course, extremely serious. So, so for us, it requires extra measures to put the force back on human rights and trade union rights in that sense. So it's depressing stories to hear from Khaing Zar.
Myanmar was a dictatorship for a very long time before, I mean, the first military coup was in 1962. And then it was a military dictatorship for all the years up to around 2010, 2011. And as I said before, gradual openings. Tell me about that period, Khaing Zar. What was it like? Was it possible to actually work as a union then, or was it still a big, a number of obstacles against it?
You are asking me about during 62 to 2011?
Yeah, I mean, what was it like to be able to work as a union then?
At the time, no organization are allowed to form. And in Myanmar, there was a law, and people cannot gather more than 5. Yeah. So that was a situation. That's why for the workers, they don't have any worker rights, or they are working very long hours and with very low salary. And there was no organization to help them. And the labor officer, the system was destroyed, so that the worker life in Myanmar were very bad. Because I was a garment worker in 2000 at my age 16. So I start working 7:30. I finish my work at 10 p.m. and I have to work 7 days a week. No social security benefit, no leave. So that was the situation. I saw the child labor, like a 12 years old, 30 years old workers who want to go to school. So that my experience at the time.
And that was before 2010, 2011. No possibility. What kind of factories did you have then? You mentioned garment industry. Was that the big industry in Myanmar at that time, or?
Yeah, at that time, in that factory, there were about 1,200 workers, and we produce for the product to be exported to EU and US. But I work very long hours, 7 days a week, but my salary was $10 per month. That very low. It was not enough money even for one person.
And then what happened? You could actually start unions then after 2011.
No. In Myanmar, there was no trade unions at that time.
No, but I mean after.
I joined union in 2007 in exile, not in Myanmar.
Oh, okay, I see.
I migrated to Thai-Burma border and I was working in a garment factory as a migrant worker. And I attended a training organized by the Federation of Trade Union Burma, which is the former name of the CTUM, Confederation of Trade Union Myanmar. And then I joined the union.
Oscar, tell me, what is your image of the period that has followed after 2011 up to the military coup?
Yeah, we just before on 2007, 5, and even before that, we of course worked in the global area of supporting the trade union rights. So then existing in exile, for instance, within the ILO and within the ITUC family. After 2011, we saw a bit of hope, and the window was opening, and we already saw that Myanmar could be. We wanted to prevent that the financial like almost revolution that could come in the openness of the country could be harming trade union rights. So we wanted this change to be sustainable. So therefore we were quite early in because we already had close ties with our colleagues in Myanmar to build resilient systems within the trade union. So for instance, we focused a lot of social dialogue on collective bargaining rights. We looked at the labor law, as Khaing Zar mentioned, on that you only could gather 5 people, but also that you needed to have 51% vote to get a union and all that kind of technical stuff. So a lot of LO, we worked with CTUM to build the capacity. A lot of LO's affiliated unions worked, for instance, in the garment sector when international financiers came in, international cooperation came in. They also did their due diligence in the right way, and they always had a sustainable factor, and also put pressure from international trade unions with the national unions to find a way to foster and bolster both investment but respect the human rights. So it was a window that we try to use in that sense.
Mm. And it was possible, because I'm repeating that question, was it actually possible to have functioning unions during this period, or was it still problems?
Yeah, of course, because we were in a very not so mature environment. So it's something that we ourselves in Europe and so tried to build for 130 years, were set to be done in 2 years. So of course the difficulties were there, but there was a huge democratic need, and the force and the democratic force was really strong. I never really seen anything like it before. So there was really positive winds.
Yeah. Do you agree on that, Khaing Zar? Was it like a strong democratic force?
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Mm.
Yeah. Before 2011, we don't have any chance to walk inside. So all of our trade union work have to do underground. So you hear that I joined the trade union in exile, and all of our work are underground work. Now again, we are facing the same situation.
Yes. How many members do you have inside Myanmar?
Currently, in National Center Confederation of Trade Unions Myanmar, we have 60,000 paying members. And I'm also president of the Industrial Worker Federation of Myanmar, which is mainly members are from garment and shoes leather factories. We have about 16,000 paying member, 16 paying member, and in total we have about 20,000.
What does people say? What did people say when you came working as a union? Were they skeptic, or was it easy to recruit members?
No. It was very difficult because workers, they afraid of losing job. The workers who are young, who don't have experience about the military rules, but the parent of the workers who has experience of the military rule, they afraid, they known that Myanmar military government does not allow to form the organization to gather more than 5 people. So these things in their mind. That's why they're afraid for their children to participate in union, and they will get their children will be arrested or put into the jail. So that's why many difficulty we face when we organize in Myanmar according to labor organization law since 2012.
Yeah. We have seen actually not that much news from Myanmar recently in Sweden. There was a lot of news in the spring, right after the coup. We heard about the coup and we heard about the big demonstrations against the coup. And you described that, Khaing Zar, that many union members and activists were a part of the demonstrations. Now there are still a lot of protests, civil disobedience, I know. Many people working for the government and working in public institutions are kind of laying down their work and not doing what they should as a protest against the military. But you also described that 26 people in your union has been arrested and one actually killed. Is everyone trying to go to exile now, or how do they do if they stay inside the country? Can they do anything now?
There was no person from my union in exile except me. I am in out of the country. It is not because of the coup, and I ran away from the coup. I was in the other country because I am doing a master program when the coup happened. So the other members are stay inside. Many of them need to move to safe place time by time. Our members are still participating in demonstration and working together with other democratic forces, the forces of the student union, student teachers, and health workers and other youth and women, so on. So some members, they stay in a place and we set up a negotiation team to protect the worker rights now. So we are still collecting the information of the worker rights, and now we are collecting information what happened to our members, and we are trying to sort out some problem with some international brands. But in this situation, it is very difficult. We don't really see we can solve the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may there, Jesper, I think this is really a tipping point, because we can identify from the International Trade Union and also from LO that it's really important to act now, and that's why it is a bit troubling that we don't see so much in the media and the news right now on Myanmar, because we don't want to have a situation where the military is being normalized and being the new normal. So we said that within this year, or maybe maximum next year, we really need to have some measures taken to cut the resources to the military regime at the same time as we work within the UN family to recognize the legit government and to have a new election and so forth. So it's actually quite stressful. We are hurried. We need to continue our support and to work with this, just because it's not on the 9 o'clock news every day. It's still an extremely serious situation that is getting worse for every day. So therefore, it's so important with the international support together with the CTUM and our trade union colleagues.
Right. In many other countries, we talked about that in the last pod when we talked about Hong Kong. The authorities are accusing the civil society to be foreign agents because they have this international cooperation within trade union confederations and international organizations. Is it the same here? Is it a problem for the unions in Burma in Myanmar, sorry, or Burma? We can choose both, I think, to have the contacts with the outside world.
Yes, we really need to work with the international organization, and CTUM, we have been working together with the INTUC, International Trade Union Confederation, and other global union federations since February. Not only that, we also working with the some international organization, trade union organization from the individual countries like LO Sweden and FH from the Danish, Denmark, something like that. We have been working together. And with the help of the trade union colleagues, and I'm also now trying to meet with the governments and parliament members, the society, solidarity group who are working for Myanmar, and I'm meeting them. So because we need help from them. Now because of the serious situation in Myanmar, Myanmar economic situation is going down. We have 60% of the business shut down already. And people now in government sector, people are now getting salary less than $2 per day. And then there are separate complaints about the forced labor. So the situation is very getting worse. And then we also see the individual factories are now supporting the military rules by paying bribes, because the factories are now violating worker rights and pay less. But no employer had been taking legal action because they are paying bribe, not only to labor officer, but also to the township and regional authorities, to the military officer also. So that's why that is very difficult for us. We can't let this happen, because now Myanmar people, we are doing a boycott to the products and services of the military-owned companies in its cronies, and we are not paying electricity bills. We are not paying the taxes, so that the regime is losing a lot of big amount of revenue, but the companies are paying. So that this means the individual companies are putting Myanmar people life to stay under military rules for more than decades. That's why now we are calling for comprehensive economic sanction. Yes.
So, because this is also international companies you're talking about, who is actually keeping the military rule under its arms now. Yeah, I see. Oscar, what do you think? Would economic sanctions be the best way now?
I think we need to do a lot of things at the same time. Economic sanctions, or the resources to the military, must be cut. And that is, of course, the international companies, they have a huge responsibilities in their activities, so that no of their resources goes to the military. So yes, in those cases, it's not possible to secure and safeguard that is not the case. Then we need actually to close that. But at the same time, I think, and what we do from LO Sweden together with others, it's the recognition of the national unity government that must be speeding up. And we had the opening of the UN a month ago, and it's at that time Sweden were sharing the so-called credential committee, the committee at the UN that gives credentials to different countries to actually be accepted within the UN meeting and the UN family. And here we put pressure from the International Trade Union Confederation, but also with others, that it should not give credentials to the military, but instead give credentials to the National Unity Government. And
just explain, what is that? National Unity Government. Try to explain that.
Yeah, I think Khaing Zar is better to explain that than me. so please, you do that.
Yes. As you know, we have Myanmar, we have a general election last year, and we have elected representatives, and they form the CRPH committee of the represented the parliament, and now they form the government. It's called National Unity Government. So the democratic forces who are now doing against the military are supporting National Unity Government. And we are now asking UN and other international government to recognize NUG, National Unity Government, yes,
yeah,
which is the legitimate government of Myanmar.
Yes, yes. Sorry, Oscar, maybe I interrupted you with this explanation.
No, but that's right. So we will have a meeting with the General Secretary of ITUC, Sharon Burrows, and the Swedish Ministry in a couple of weeks to discuss this. And we are putting pressure to, because the important things to understand is, if we got a recognition of the NUG, the National Unity Government in the UN, then that is applicable for all UN entities. So that will be, for instance, for the ILO, we will have the National Unity Government represented instead of military. And if because we talk about trade union rights and labor rights, it is extremely important that we actually have a government that respect these terms to get anywhere. And if we get anywhere with that within the ILO family, we could also get the international pressure on Myanmar to respect trade union rights within Myanmar.
Do you think there is any hope for such a recognition from the United Nations?
Yes, I think so. At least among the progressive governments and also others. So, but of course, UN is a tricky one, because it needs to be taken in some kind of unilateral compromise, and we have some countries that are not so how to put it, not so keen on this.
No, but I was thinking about that. Economic sanctions and diplomatic work is probably very good, but then you have like China, for example, who is only interested in stability and good trade relations with Myanmar. That is probably a problem for the democratic movement right now. What do you think about that, Khaing Zar?
Yes, yes, many people talk about China and other ASEAN countries, which probably continue their business in Myanmar. But according to our experience in the past, the economic sanction really could make the military regime change their approach in politics in the past. So yeah, I don't know. We have time to explain why I am saying that. Because the other people are saying Myanmar faced economic sanction in the past, but it doesn't work. But in our view, it did work, and it may change. That I want to explain. But here is time limitation. If you allow me to speak, I can share our.
But it was from 1988, 89 and forwards. There was a number of economic sanctions, and some people say that they actually worked in getting this change 10 years ago. That was just one final.
Here, I would like to emphasize one thing. And many people talk about sanctions in 1988. We are talking about complete economic sanction, complete comprehensive economic sanction. It was happened in 2003, not from 1988. Because since that time, we have kind of targeted sanction, which really did not make change. But in 2000, because of the ILO decision, the member state took action, and then comprehensive sanction, economic sanction happened in 2003. Then it may change.
Yeah, I see. Just one final question now, because we are wrapping this up. But you now work as a union leader from the exile. That must be very frustrating, not being able to be with the people you actually represent.
But for me, seeing what happened in Myanmar from away is very difficult. But I'm working with them every day basis. I have a meeting connection with them every day. And also based on the information I receive from them, based on the action plan we have with them, I can deliver the information, what we are doing and what our expectation to the international organization. So which very important for us to get support from them.
Yeah. Good to hear, after all. And thank you very much for an interesting discussion. We will end this now, but I will hope that the discussion on Myanmar and the news about Myanmar is continuing to come out even in our part of the world, because as you said, Oscar, it's important for people to know what's going on there. And it's important for politicians and organizations to actually be aware of it. Thank you very much.